Hello and welcome to Mad About Mini Pads Hop. Y'all, I have more mini pads than I know what to do with. I don't know about you, but every time a collection comes out, I get the mini pad. And I know I'm not a 6x8 scrapper or a 6x6 scrapper, but there's just something about the scaled down version of big prints that just calls my name. So, who am I? I am Karen. I am the everything behind the channel here on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. And I am very glad that you are here today for this video. If you are brand new to the channel, welcome. Hey, Bestie. I am so glad that you are here. For my returning best friends, grab something to drink. We're making a layout this morning. So, I have mentioned in many videos across the summer that I am burning and churning through Disney photos, and this is going to be another one. I also have been challenging myself to use my digital collections, and that means I have to print them. So one of the things that I'm up against is to in-home print, to at the house print, I can print no bigger than 8.5 by 11. And I do a lot of that, and it really doesn't bother me. Anything bigger than that, I do have to send out somewhere, and truly the biggest I can get at this point is just shy of 11 by 11. So, you know, it is what it is situation. That being said, since this is a mini pad hop, I thought that I would work with 8x8 papers. So these were all printed. This is the digital version of Simple Stories Say Cheese. And I think these are out of Say Cheese 1, maybe 2 as well. But I really like that these are just kind of a miniature version of the 12 by 12 with all the distressing on the edge. I love the colors of it. These are going to be fantastic to use, and I thought that it would work with today's idea of taking smaller papers and making them into a 12 by 12 layout. So let's talk a little bit about where we're headed. Y'all, I don't know if I've ever seen this paper. Like, I literally do not remember it, and it is out of that Say Cheese 1 digital collection, and I'm so in love with it that this is going to be the main focus, I think, of our layout. So today I think we're going to do an all black background. We're going to have this. Oh, I love it. Do you see where we're going already? I kind of thought that this could be fun. So trim these up. These are digital pieces. Put them kind of behind like this. It's got a little stitching in there, so it looks like I did a little something something when I didn't. And then have that be kind of the background basis for my layout. Now, here's where I'm still trying to get myself together. I was thinking, so the photo sizes are 3x3s. And when I laid these on here, they get a little bit lost. Which, I mean, you know, it's a busy paper. Right? But if I put my grid in there, and it's not centered because I'm kind of holding it down. When I put my grid in there, I lose it. So I was thinking about coming in with this not black, not really gray, which really picks up some of the colors in the printed paper, and giving our collage here in the middle a little bit of a border of this. What I'm trying to decide is, do I want it to be like a frame? You know, like that. Nah, I think I don't want space in between. Anyway, so we've got that going on. And then I also printed from the digital collection some of the ephemera stuff. And there's a lot of really good stuff in here. There are tabs. There's this giant Mickey. At one point I was thinking, well, what if I didn't do this? and I did a more solid paper. There's a red chevron, it looks like this. And then we did the Mickey over to the side, so there's a big side element. So that's what's fun about having this in digital, is when this collection came out, this whole piece was, just a couple of inches. But because it's in digital, I can make it as big or as little as I want using a photo editing program. You could use Canva by uploading the images to Canva, or I use Adobe Illustrator. You could use anything. You could drop them into Microsoft PowerPoint. You could drop them into Photoshop, into any of those programs, and resize them the way that you want them. Now, one thing that I do like to do, and this is an example of it, is I do like to do the elements in different sizes. So this little guy is 1.5 inches long, and this one I think is 3 inches. Just short. It's 2 3/4. So I like having different sizes. Now, I will be honest with you, once I got these all printed out, I kind of wish I had something in between, because I felt like this was a little small and that's a little big, but it is what it is. So I've got those. I've got some words. I've got a tag. I got this cute little circle element. Picks up the stitching again. Let's see. So that's kind of the stuff. I also have a full page of stars over here that if I decide I need a shape, I may use. But this is where we are. This is where we're headed. So I'm going to kind of clear the deck so I can work. I need to cut a branding strip off of my Raven. I think this is Raven. Yeah, Raven cardstock. And then we'll get going. All right, let's make a layout. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is trim off the branding strip so we have a 12 by 12 background. Next, I am going in with my favorite scrapbooking tool, this little paper scraper, and I'm going to edge up the papers. This really helps if your trimmer blade is a little bit dull, so that you don't notice those kind of paper pulls. And on the paper that I am using to print all of my digital things, man, it does not like my blade. So the next thing I wanted to do was create a square frame around my photos using some white paper. And I used the, Better Layers. It's an old tool. I think We Are Memory Keepers still makes one. Perfect Layers is what it's called. Now, this was my brainchild. This was part of the digital collection, and I went in and created digitally kind of what I wanted this to look like. And then the next thing I have to do, obviously, is get it cut out, because I didn't want the white in between. So I just went through, cut the edges with my scissors, and then took the trimmer to cut them out. The pieces are about 1 inch wide. I think on my trimmer I noticed that it did take just the tiniest hair off of that. Now I get down here to the end of this, and y'all, I used a handy dandy piece of low tack tape to help hold that in place so that I could get those all trimmed out. Typically I would have grabbed a post-it note, but in the chaos that is currently my desk, I can't find them. And if that surprises you, then you've not been around here very long. That tends to be the state of my desk. So I grabbed back out this little scraper tool, and I'm going through and adding the edges. What I really want to accomplish with this piece is the look that they were stitched down. So rather than it being a piece of pattern paper that I have, actually gone in and stitched this little sucker down, which obviously I don't, because I never stitch. So I grabbed out my big ginormous T-square. This thing is the biggest thing ever. There are several companies that make some, and I really wish that I had one that was a little different. I think Tim Holtz even has one, but anyway, I have what I have, and so There it is. Now I'm just going to come in and put my strips in. Once that first strip was straight, I really didn't feel like that I so much needed to use the T-square. You do see my head pop in and out as I'm getting right over that project to see. So on top of the fact that I scraped the edges, I did come back in and kind of pull them up with my fingers. I feel like that just helps lift up. Now I'm going to grab my little T-square. This one's from Simon Says. I love this little guy. And make sure that the background paper, that ticket paper, is absolutely straight. Then we're going to come in and add some embellishments. Remember, these were all pre-printed. And now it's just going in and putting them where I wanted them. All right. So once we start getting these stuck down, some are going to go up on some 3-dimensional tape. Others are going to lay flat. I am going to come in and add the date and location on the date and location tag, as well as edge out this little square that has Pure Magic on it. And lastly, we are going to add some puffy heart stickers. These are from Ellie's Studio. I did look to see if there were any other little dots that I wanted to use and didn't have any. There it is, all finished. So one of the things that made this fly together was that I had done a lot of the pre-work on the computer, figuring out kind of what I wanted and where I wanted it to be. I did end up shifting this a little bit narrower on this side because I knew these elements were going to stick out. But doing some of that pre-work really allowed this to go together a lot faster than I thought it was going to. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. I hope that it has inspired you to dig into either your stash and pull out a very old collection, or dive into the world of some hybrid scrapping and pull out maybe something digital that you've purchased. My very first forays into any kind of a hybrid scrapping was photo printing out the Project Life cards out of the Project Life app. So that's one way to start. I mean, there really are no rules. So this one was super fun. I learned a lot. I learned a lot as I went. Some resizing things, some making things work kind of things. One of the things that stuck out as I was doing this was I didn't think a lot about the fact that these strips were going to be so completely covered. And so if I had known that, I might have set this piece up differently so that I didn't lose so much underneath and I didn't need to print as much. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. You know what? I'm kind of liking, nope, too much light. So I was kind of thinking I kind of would like to have a spot to like snag some journaling, but that's too tone on tone for me. So there is that. I will grab some still shots of this so that you can see everything up close. I will dust it off because I did a lot of paper edging, and the printer paper that I use to print on really likes to get dusty. So down below are all the links to everybody who's playing along this week. I also have links to my favorite places to shop, as well as where I love to post. I would love to have you as a subscriber here at the channel. When you subscribe, YouTube does the heavy lifting and lets you know when every one of my layouts comes out by dropping it into your feed. So my friends, until we're together in the next Mad About Mini Pad Hop video, go make some memories. Bye-bye.